Alright, everyone, we are back. Quick game restart, and hopefully we can get going quickly. Um, yeah, it's what you get sometimes. The game is the game. When you're working with the F1 game, you're gonna have those sort of lobby issues from time to time, so just gotta get up with it, make a new lobby, and then, yeah, make sure we can get going as soon as possible. Fucking hell, the amount of people who are like asking me for a respin is crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a joke, but people really aren't happy about about the track we've gotten here, especially because we already had it last season. But I don't know. The game's the game. I wouldn't particularly want to respin it. Right. I mean, wait. Someone did post a vote. Let's check. 11 votes. 10 yes, 1 no. Fucking hell. Okay. Okay. We're not respinning. That would have been a bit of a farce, to be fair. So I'm glad that there isn't enough of an overwhelming majority to force me into doing that. Enough people were just kind of venting frustration about the track and don't actually want to respin it. That's good then. So we need who do we still need? Pub Dog. We need Borbodinho. Ah, great timing. We need Pinky and Phantom. There's Pub Dog. And there's Pinky. Alright, let's go. So now we can finally get going. Hopefully this time the lobby doesn't shit itself. In terms of today's grid, we are missing a handful of people. Absence channel is a bit messy. Mihai dropped out from his main seat, so that Haas is for the moment completely empty. The Haas alongside Gary. Um, Alwise is not here. Flavor's not here. Edwin not here. Maximus not here. And finally, Aussie is not here. Aussie in the Sauber has been replaced by Dylan, and then Maxi in the McLaren has been replaced by Yusuf. The other drivers who were on racing have not been replaced. We've got a 16-car grid in total then for this Reverse Austria Mystery Grand Prix, a track that, similar to yesterday, most people will not have much experience at all on. Of course, those who did race Division 2 last season at least have that one race there. And we had a preseason race as well. It's actually the third time this game, well, in total, the track wasn't in the old games, but it's the third time on F125 that we are racing Reverse Austria. We had it in the um, start of the game cycle when we did our preseason races, like social events, no points for it, just going racing for the fun of it and for like trying out the game. Then we had it in the Division 2 Mystery Grand Prix last season, and again now as Division 2 Mystery Grand Prix this season. Oh my god, and it's raining. No, no, oh my god. That's a wet start going into a dry race later on. Some people are delighted, some people are absolutely pissed. This is gonna be quite something. Phantom and Viral are quite happy. Gabri, Sean. Oh, Sean's just loving. Gabri's not happy. Kuko's very much unhappy. But it does add another layer of spice then. A track that we already don't know too well, and now we also have to do it in 2 different weather conditions. It's first wet and then dry in the race. The qualifying, I believe, is all dry. At least no one has said the qualifying is going to rain. So at least that is all calm and normal for the drivers. But yeah, they have got quite some work to do in terms of learning this track now. And a track with, I would say, limited overtaking opportunities. There is, of course, the run down towards up the hill here. If you get a good exit, this is a great overtaking spot, the best overtaking spot, I would say, in this DRS zone. Towards the top of the hill, you start going back down the hill through this 90-degree left-hander. The problem is it's such a tight corner going this way, and it tightens so much in the exit, it's very difficult to go through there side by side without pushing the outside guy off track. And you have this nice run down the hill towards the final corner, which also is a good overtaking opportunity. The main problem here is that also it's quite a tight corner, and it's very one line. It's also quite difficult to go side by side. And then this DRS zone into turn 1, of course, yeah, I mean, if you just look at this turn 1, I don't think you could design a worse corner to go side by side through than that if you tried. Maybe the Baku Castle, maybe. Honestly, Baku Castle might be better. But the first lap that's gonna come on the board here is from Bombardino, who I believe had the pole position last season as well. I'm not sure if he beat Numi to it, but he definitely was one of the pace setters I remember from that race. Him and Numi pulling away from the field. So Bombardino, a bit of a slide coming up the hill. Because Numi, the one and only winner on this track in a official capacity in F1 Total, in a championship race in this. I can't remember who won the social race. It might have been me. I think it was me, but I don't know for sure anymore. So today for sure we are going to get a different winner than we did last time. Numi, of course, not racing, so he literally cannot win. The first lap on the board then, a 105.333 by Bombardino. Following him is Pinky with a 104.6, immediately quite a bit faster than Bombardino. A few more cars over the line. Papdog 104.9, and that's more of the Williams, who was starting it up. I believe that was Sully. A McLaren down the line, that would be Viral or Yusuf starting it up. So Akuzin, next one over the line on a push lap. And he's going to put in a 105.345, and that puts him just behind Bombardino into 4th position for the moment. The Ferrari over the line, that's Kuko starting a lap. Then Pix, his teammate Pinky is currently on pole. Pix is going to go into P2. It's a VCAP 1-2 for the moment. 104.761. Gabi starting lap there. The McLaren of Yusuf, I think, to start the lap. Then a Sauber over the line. It was Dylan starting a lap. Up next, the Aston Martin of Bombardino, who's going back to the pit lane, I imagine. Pinky's done the lap. Alright, who is on a push lap then? At this point I've lost track of who's next over the line. That's Gabi with a purple first sector, Yusuf just behind him. It goes quite a bit wide. That's surprised that isn't an invalidation, but the game lets him get away with it. So they abandoned the lap. Kuko quite far along a lap here. And now coming back down the hill. Overtake mode enabled. A purple middle sector for the Ferrari man. And Viral starting, or finishing his lap, sorry, 108.3, but I think that lap was abandoned halfway through and he's going for another one now. Kuko through the last corner, DRS enabled, down the line. And for the Italian in the Ferrari, that is going to be provisional pole position, 104.492. He beats Pinky by just under 2/10. Gabriel's over the line now, and he beats it again, 104.322 for the other Italian. Sonny only just starting it up. Dylan, 105.731. Papdog on his second lap already, his previous best a 4.9. As he exits Sector 2, he's 11 thousandths down after that slide at the exit of the second to last corner. So that would have cost him straight line speed all the way down to this final corner, and Papdog unlikely to improve. We'll see as he goes over the line. Another car ahead of him, that is, I believe, Akuzin or Cheeseburger, I don't know. Papdog does not improve, and the car ahead of him was Cheeseburger, who's just now starting a lap. We've got Sully heading to the last corner. Hasn't put a lap in so far, 12 minutes to go, he is P12. And with DRS enabled over the line for Sully, that's a 1:05.060 for Sully, puts him into 6th place. Up next, the Haas of Gabri, who is on a lap back to the pit lane. We then have the Sauber of Dylan on a lap back to the pit lane. And then we've got Cheeseburger, a driver to look out for. Definitely not the fastest in the division, joined halfway through the season, and put himself right up there in the title fight. SJM is retired from the session, I believe in the pit lane. No lap time coming from him then, interestingly. And Cheeseburger over the line, that's going to be a 1:04.756, puts him into 4th place. He splits, he doesn't split at anyone, he splits the two V-Cabs, 5 thousandths ahead of Ewek. Sean goes into 8th place. With Garby up in 1st, Sean 7 tenths behind him, he needs to improve by quite a bit there. Can't really afford to be that far behind his championship rival. Bobodini on his second push lap. 53 thousandths gained in the first sector. So far so good for him. Of course he had a bit of a snap, I believe, through here, which cost him some time. Now if he can... Yes, that was much better. I reckon Bobodinho is on for a big improvement now. This corner as well, very crucial. Get the braking just right. Maybe a little bit deep, late on the throttle. But still under control and nice and smooth. 4 tenths gained then, after the first 2 sectors of Bobodinho. That will put him into the 104s and should put him into the top 6. And maybe more is possible with a good final sector, we'll see. That looked good as well. And over the line for the Aston Martin man, he jumps from 9th into 6th, 104.899. Just like I said, the top 6. And that leaves no one currently on hot lap. Akuzin, Viral, and Pinky on outlaps. Viral is furthest along on one, so we're going with him. His previous best, well, an 8.3, so not representative lap at all. He's going to have a whole lot more pace than that, I would imagine. Be quite surprising if he's 4 seconds off pace. And I believe I saw him going over the line with like 90% ERS, so I think he abandoned that lap and tried to go for another one. That also fucked up that one. So the weather report from Gabri, we've got 75% after 10 minutes in the race, 64% after 15, 31% after 30, and then 50% after 45. So somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes I think it'll stop raining. So after about 10, 15 laps, maybe? Because 15 and 30 minutes is quite a big spread there. That could be all the way to like lap 25. Especially if it... so it is set to approximate. Since the perfect weather forecast is glitched, we have to use approximate. Survival is up by 3 seconds, so yeah, big improvement coming from him. And the approximate forecast can be a bit off as well, of course. The rain could stop sooner or later. Vribel very late in the race. Surprised he got that car stopped actually, but that looked quite decent then for the last corner. And Vribel, that's a 1:04.566 and he jumps all the way into the top 3. Yusuf with a purple first sector. Akuzin not in the push lap anymore. Picture starting one. Pinky up by 3 tenths then. Currently in 4th place and could be on to take pole position away from Gabriel here with 8 minutes left on the clock. Pinky puts in a 1:04.304. Yes! Pinky goes on to pole position. Not far away from Gabriel though. Bazooka has gotten a 5-place grid penalty now for a collision with Akuzin. Akuzin has gotten a 5-place grid penalty as well. The both of them being dropped 5 places on the grid there. So now have Yusuf over the line here. Garbi ahead of him starting a lap. Yusuf with a 1:05.112. That's That's enough for P11. Sully 3/10 up in the first sector. Decent start to his lap. We'll see where he is at now as he exits the second sector. One more corner to go. 7/10 gain for Sully. On for a 104.3. Sully on course for the front row. With a good final sector. And that looked decent, but I'm not sure if he carried enough speed to that last corner. It looked smooth, but was it fast? It wasn't. It was okay. But not the time gain he needed to get that final step towards pole position, but still a big improvement. And top 3, definitely something he'll be happy about. Kuko jumps into pole position, 104.277. Gabri up by 84 thousandths now, and that could already be enough to beat Kuko and claim pole position right back. As Gabri breaks the 100 meter board for the final corner, sends it over the curb on the inside. And now Oldtick mode, full throttle, DRS down to the line. Is that enough for Gabri? Yes it is, 104.246, and this is so close at the front of the field. 6 minutes left to go. We've got one more lap from everyone who is up there, I would imagine. And we've got more drivers, I would say, down the field to look out for. Sean down in 11th, Borodinho in 8th. Phantom down in 14th, hasn't put a lap in at all so far. Cheeseburger as well down in 7th, I think has surely got more pace than that. So there are plenty of drivers still in the fight for position. Yes, Sean up by 6/10 here. Needs a bit more in the final sector to get right to the top, but even this would put him well into the top 5. I'm not sure that was too good of a final corner. So it won't be pole position for Sean, but he will definitely improve significantly. Yes, 7/10 gained, and that is P4 for Sean Mull. And with that, he is right in the fight at the front where he needs to be. Now, do we have anyone left on a push lap? I don't think so. 5.5 minutes to go, we are in the calm before the storm. There we go, Akusin has just started one. And it's over. 104.926 previous best will not be improved upon this time around as he invalidated on the exit of turn 1. The track limits around here are quite brutal. Of course they already are on the normal Austria layout, and now this way the corners tighten a lot more on the exit. And it's even more difficult to keep within track limits. Papdog, is he on a push lap or did he... Because I went on what with him start of lap and I thought he wasn't. But he's running medium ERS and he is going at pace. We'll see as he comes over the sector 2 line. Yeah, I don't think it's a push lap. Yeah, 1.5 seconds down. He's just doing a quick in lap. Make it back to the pits sooner rather than later so he can get back out again. So next one starting a lap is the Sauber of Phantom Fox. Finally out on track here with 4.5 minutes to go. Phantom's one and only lap in the session. Oh, and a big slide coming out the first corner, and he almost collects the Aston Martin coming out the pit lane there. Thankfully, Bombardino being just behind Phantom Fox, but that's Phantom Fox lap down the drain already, and he'll have to go again on the same set of tires. That definitely putting a big damper on his qualifying chances here. And then we have Yusuf then starting his final lap. Currently 12th, 105.112. Fully flat through here. Oldtick mode enabled now. Towards the flat left into the double right. 5th gear back on the Oldtick button. It's a 3.5 improvement in the first sector. A great start to the lap for him. That will put him well into the top 10. Has he got even more for us? Let's see. Gets the car nicely stopped in the apex. Can keep the control. Yes, the traction looking very good out of there. It's so tricky to get the traction down. Going uphill there, it's very awkward to take the corner that way. You can really tell it's not designed to be raced in that direction. But Yusuf managing it to perfection, and now entering the final sector. He's still up by 3, almost 4/10. And Yusuf on his way to a very good improvement here at the end of qualifying. And a good final corner as well. Wraps the lap together and over the line for Yusuf. It's a 104.641. Almost half a second gained, puts him into P8 as it stands. But everybody else, I would think, still with a lap to do. Some people even still in the pit lane at this point. Bazooka goes over the line with a 105.447. Phantom on another lap. I think he might actually be close to finishing as well. Bobolinho 2 tenths up in the first sector. McLeod out the line is Viral starting it up. So yeah, it's Phantom, then Bobolinho, who are finishing up laps. 2 minutes to go. Of course, Phantom's previous lap, the 12.4, was when he had that half spin right in the start of the lap already. Now we see what his actual pace is. In his one and only qualifying attempt, Phantom jumps from 15th to 15th. Bobolinho jumps into 6th with a 4.428. Now who's next? Anyone close to finishing a lap? No, it's just everybody starting one now. And Sean has already abandoned it. Let's Sully through. Sully invalidates. Viral quite far along on the lap, currently in 7th, 4.566. Let's see, after minute 6 he's down by just over a tenth. He's still burning ERS, so maybe it's a difference in ERS management, we'll see. He has more left now than he did last time, maybe he can gain some time that way. Down to the line for Viral, is that going to be an improvement? It's a 104.635, not an improvement for Viral, he stays where he is. Picks a start in his final lap now. Bobolinho back to the pit lane with a minute to go. He won't make it back out in time. That's his qualifying done. Here's Gabri starting his final lap of qualifying. Phantom also going one more time, but at this point on very warm tires, so it's unlikely he makes it off the back row of the grid. Dylan is right behind him. He's going to have dirty air the entire lap. As Phantom has a big snap through the first corner. And that is Phantom's lap down the drain already, and now he's also hurting his teammate. He might give him a slipstream, and then hopefully get out of his way for Dylan. Because Phantom's lap, yeah, is already ruined. He gets out the way. Let's see, Dylan, the first sector, did that slipstream help? Not really, 2,000s down. Probably about equal if he had a slipstream or not with a dirty as well. Pix massively improving as he comes into the last corner. Currently in 8th, but the gain he's on, this could put him quite far up the field. Pix over the line with a 104.284 into the top 3 and into the wall. Gabri 2 tenths up again, already our pole sitter, and improves once more to a 104.001, just about missing out on the 103s. Pup Dog has invalidated. Up next, Cheeseburger, 3 tenths gained. He goes into P6. Then we've got Pinky over the line. He takes back pole position, 103.976. Who is next? That's Akuzin, currently in 12th, and then we've got Sully. Akuzin down on his previous best, won't be improving. Sully over the line. Currently 7th. Can he go further up the field? He can. That's enough for P4. Finally, we've got Kuko and Sean, the 2 Ferraris still going, but I don't think... Yeah, Sean is back to the pit lane. Kuko, the last one, still on a hot lap. Currently in P3. Can he take more position off Pinky? No, he can't. Doesn't improve. And that means it is going to be Pinky who lines up on pole position here for the reverse Austrian Grand Prix. 103.976, the only driver under 104. Gabri, 104.001. That is unbelievably close between Pinky and Gabri. 25,000 separating the front row. Kuko lines up in 3rd place, 104.277, exactly 1,000 ahead of Sully in P4. Pix then on the 3rd row of the grid in P5, a great qualifying by him, and a great qualifying by VCAP in general, P1 and P5. They can be quite happy with that. Following Pix, we've got Sean starting in 6th position, right alongside him, the other Scotsman in this division, Cheeseburger in 7th with Bobolinho in P8. And we've got Viral and Yusuf in 9th and 10th from McLaren starting together. Pup Dog in P11. Akuzin qualifying 12th, but the 5-phase grid penalty puts him towards the back of the field. We've then got Dylan in P12 on the grid. Bazooka a good penalty as well, so that puts Phantom in 13th, JM in 15th, then Akuzin into... No, it's JM in 14th, Akuzin in 15th, and Bazooka in P16 on the grid. And now we have the rain that was reported. Nowhere near as much rain as it was in Division 3, so I can tell you with 100% certainty this is intermediate conditions for everyone. Well, even the Division 3 rain should have been intermediate conditions for everyone, but some people, of course, don't know how bad the full wet is on these modern F1 games. But in this scenario, I'm pretty sure we are gonna have pretty much everyone, yeah, running the intermediate. So with this rain R coming down at the start of the Grand Prix, we're in a very, very interesting position. Drivers on the track that I doubt anyone has really raced in the rain before. So it's going to take quite some adjustment, and they're going to have to adjust very quickly because they're, of course, being thrown right into the deep end. 36 laps of this Red Bull Ring run the other way. And it is every single driver on the intermediates as expected. Keep an eye out on our usual wet weather merchants. Phantom down in 13th, Viral down in 9th. So they've got quite some work to do to get up the field. But we all know how strong they can be in the wet. Especially after yesterday in Division 3, I think Viral proved it once more. Star of the race was lapping quite literally 2 seconds a lap faster than anybody else, and his fast lap of the race also being 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone else, winning by 10 seconds it was in the end, since he pitted quite late, since he didn't need to pit it earlier on, he just had that much of a gap. He could completely allow the undercut from Ossie for like, I think 8 laps, something like that, and then he eventually had to pit to make sure he still comes out in the lead. But yeah, incredible stuff yesterday from Viral, and now with similar conditions, he just want to keep an eye out, but of course, the main ones to keep an eye out for are starting at the front of the field. We've got Pinky, followed by Gabri, heading down towards turn 1, then Kuko, Soli, and Pix. Here we go then, the 5 red lights are on, we are ready for lights out, and it's lights out, and away we go, not a long wait at all there, and a decent start by Pinky, but it gets a little bit loose then, on the second phase of the start, and it squeezes Gabri all the way to the inside. Pinky takes lead into the first corner. And then we've got Kuko in P3, followed by Sully. As Kuko has actually jumped into lead, Pinky has gone off, it looks like, down to P3 now. Both Kuko and Gabi slipping through, and there comes Cheeseburger as well, with a move on Pinky, on Sean it looks like. And Pinky has held on to P3. We've got a spin at the back, that's Bazooka, who's round at the second corner. And we've got loads of battles there in the midfield. That's Phantom, Sully, and Dylan locked in the battle. Sully dropping quite far down. We're now with a run on Pub Dog up the hill towards the usual turn 4. And they are 3 wide there in the midfield. And Sully gets a little bit loose. Now the 2 Salvers going on the attack. Phantom has slipped through. Dylan and Sully still side by side there with Yusuf lurking in behind. Heading down towards the second to last corner of the lap. Oh, they're all a little bit loose. And someone is way off. That's Cheeseburger, who's off in the gravel at turn 3. Has rejoined the race in 7th place. The top 3 have broken away. Kuko leads from Garby and Pinky. Sean then up into 4th. But his championship rival way out in front of Mimi to get a move on and stay with them, it looks like. Viral now looking at Pix in the battle for 5th. As Dylan and Sully are still locked in the battle down the pit straight there, down towards turn 1. JM is in the pit lane. And Dylan holds on to the position against Sully as he has the inside line. Bazooka into the pits as well. Sully now trying the outside line, goes off the track, has to let off the throttle, but now back into the gap, halfway through the grass as well there, and Sully looking to the inside line into the double right-handers, but he doesn't have the traction to quite get far enough alongside Dylan to keep his nose in there. That would have been very risky if he tried that. If we have a look at this, the best start in this race from Phantom Fox, up 5 places. Sully down 7, had a horrible start. Viral up 3 as well. Kuko, of course, from 3rd to 1st. He can be quite happy with that. And then we have Phantom Fox already on the back of Cheeseburger to make up even more places early on in this race as Cheeseburger goes a little bit deep with a good exit. Phantom could have had a go at him, but he didn't have a good exit after all, and Cheeseburger holds on to the place for now. The train at the front being reconnected. Sean getting closer to Pinky, it looks like. Although getting a little bit loose as well. And Viral also getting quite loose and still stuck behind Pix, it looks like. Yeah, with how close he's following, it seems he has a bit more pace than Pix. But of course, that doesn't mean it'll be easy at all to overtake in conditions like these. A dry line starting to come in, it's going to be quite difficult to make moves, even more difficult than it already is. As once you go off that dry line, you lose so much traction, so much grip. And of course, the defending driver can just decide to stay on the dry line, and there isn't a whole lot you can do in that point, in that scenario. You can't make him leave the dry line, at least not without being a bit of a terrorist. Kukulo, rather surprising. Usually not a strong driver in the wet at all, but so far, looking good. Won the start, he's got a whole lot of ERS here as well, and he's holding on against Gabri. And now we have a yellow flag at turn 2, that's JM with a spin, and he rejoins the race down in the last place behind Bazooka. And if anything, it looks like Gabri is more so under pressure from Pinky, and he's able to put pressure on Kuku himself. Firewall once again close behind Pigs, but not quite close enough. Good exit now, maybe. Slipstream down towards the first corner, fast lap the race there from Pinky. Viral not close enough, and the slipstream not helping him enough to get past. And he still continues to be stuck here in P6. And now Phantom with a great round Cheeseburger looking for the outside line into the double right hand. Of course, it's the inside for this flat out left, so at least that gets him into the fight. Now he has to hold it all the way around the outside. Cheeseburger, very aggressive defense there. They make a bit of contact, and Cheeseburger on the inside line holds onto the position. Now Phantom once again with a good exit though. Maybe this time he will get Cheeseburger once again. Has to take the outside line. Brakes later than the Red Bull, and is looking to swoop all the way around the outside up the hill. Halfway on the curb, they are still side by side then on the run up the hill to the top of the hill, and they bang wheels down the straight once and twice. Phantom still there on the outside line. Is he gonna swoop all the way around the outside here? No, not quite. Doesn't have the exit needs, and we have another spin from JM at the first corner. Not something he seems to enjoy at all, that complex of the track. And Phantom in the end not able to complete the move after, well, can't fault the effort. He really did try everything. For about half a lap there, they were side by side and still wasn't enough. But Morodinho now in the pits already on lap 5. So it must be a wing change, surely. Unfortunately for him. Is that a dry tire? No. Okay, I need my eyes checked. And Phantom once again with the same move on Cheeseburger to the inside of the left-hander into the outside for the double right, and once again, oh, Cheeseburger squeezing him all the way to the white line. Great defense there. And Phantom looks to hold the outside line, but he's not alongside, has to back out in the end. And Cheeseburger, once again, holds up to the position. Doing well. Keep calm under Phantom's pressure. Pub Dog getting closer and closer from behind, so Phantom has to keep an eye on his mirror as well here. Up ahead, Viral in a very similar situation. Must be very frustrating. Being stuck behind another driver like this. Viral can't find a way around Pigs. Phantom can't find a way around Cheeseburger. We've got Pub Dog here as this happy third man basically. JM now with another spin out of turn 2. At this point he's almost a lap down and we're only 6 laps in. A disaster race for him so far. Which is a real shame to see. Driver that when he came back to Division 2 did incredibly well. But so far it's not been his season, and this race especially not his evening it seems. But as long as he gets a safety car soon-ish before he gets lapped by Kuko, his race could still go quite well. As soon as he does get lapped, I think it's essentially over though. Now we have finally the overtake from Viral on Pigs. He's got the inside line up the hill. And they are side by side down towards turn 3. Viral is slightly ahead on the inside line. Pigs, is he going to try and dive it into the outside? No. Viral has it covered off. And Viral getting pushed on the exit there. But it's killed Pigs' momentum, and that means Viral has got the position finally. JM now pulling into the pit lane, and that means he's also going to be a lap down. I reckon that's JM retiring from the race, unfortunately. But I can't blame him, yeah. A real nightmare for him. Not what you want to see. But I'm sure next week maybe hopefully will be a better one for him. Fast lap the race, they're coming in from Sully. Track speeding up a bit, I think. The rain definitely, I think, lightening up a little bit. And if we have a look at the fast laps, yeah, that's quite a bit faster than anybody else. So I do think that would have maybe been because of a dry line starting to form. We're nowhere near dry tires yet, but I don't think it's going to be long once that rain stops at the dry line. So it's already sort of beginning to form. It won't wait too long with the pit stop onto dries. This train now behind Viral all the way down to Dylan. From 5th to P11, all fairly close together. Viral, I thought he'd be able to pull away from Pix a little bit more, but not really. Pix is still right on the tail of him. And he's got Cheeseburger, Phantom, Pop Dog, Sully, Dylan, all right behind. Especially Phantom and Cheeseburger, look at that. How close they end up on the exit of the corners. They're slowing each other down there as well. It's costing Phantom crucial momentum to try and get the move on Cheeseburger done. So tricky to overtake in conditions like these on a track like this. And especially drivers like this, Cheeseburger, putting up a hell of a defense. Phantom will be absolutely kicking himself and he's not far away around him yet. He's surely going to want to use this rain and attack at the front. The leaders aren't that far away still. I mean, if you have open up the gap to the leader, quick look, yeah, from Dylan to Kuko, it's 9 seconds. So it's really not far away at all. Cheeseburger now maybe with a run on Pix. But no, he took the EIS none, doesn't want to force the issue. Maybe with a good exit out of here. He's got a lot of EIS to use. But I think he's a tad too far back to try to determine to the final corner. Or maybe Emek is derating. Oh no, he's on medium EIS, sorry. That flashing red light normally, like, to me, my brain just immediately goes, he's on non-EIS, but of course it's raining. There's always the flashing red light. I'm stupid. Fast lap the race now from Viral. And here comes Cheeseburger with the run on Pix, and Pix looking for the switchback in turn 2. Cheeseburger goes off, and that will be the position for Pix. And there was Phantom as well, taking the opportunity immediately, seizing the mistake, and Cheeseburger now caught behind Pix, and Phantom has gotten Pix as well. A beautiful move there as he swoops around the outside. Absolutely lovely stuff from Phantom there, taking the first possible opportunity on Cheeseburger as he went off track. Yeah, that's got wing as well, Cheeseburger. And Pix being caught off guard there as well. Cheeseburger caught behind Pix, couldn't do anything about Phantom just driving past him. And finally Phantom's got himself up into clean air and into P6. Now if he just holds on to that, maybe he can start going after Viral and the rest of the top 5. And Cheeseburger now in a battle with Pop Dog as well there. Wing damage definitely costing him valuable lap time. Struggling more and more, it looks like. Positions out front remain unchanged. Kuko leads from Gabri. Gabri putting pressure on him though. And Viral with fast lap of the race. After fast lap of the race, he's closing in. And just like I said, our wet weather merchants, Viral and Phantom, they are now on the hunt for that top 4. Sean in touching distance of the leaders, not quite within a second. Well, there's no DRS, so no DRS range to be within, but if there was DRS, he wouldn't have it. Just about. Of course, Sean in a difficult position here. It's quite likely that everyone's going to have to put on the same lap, and he is quite close to his teammate Kuko. Especially as a championship contender. One of the worst things you can imagine is having to double stack behind your teammate, but of course Kuko is not going to give up this race win to try and help Sean. I mean, especially because it would give Gabri 7 points. That would be quite stupid. But still, it's a tough position for Sean. He has to basically try and find some kind of alternative to pit either lap earlier or lap later than anybody else will onto the dry compound to make sure he doesn't get caught behind Kuko. And of course, I mean, Kuko has a race win to fight for, and Sean has got a lot of motivation as well to make sure Kuko has a great chance to beat Gabri in this race, since that's also 7 points less for Gabri, which is in a title fight essentially the same as having 7 points more yourself. Of course, it's a bit more complicated when there's multiple people in the title fight like there is now, kind of. And Yusuf is the first one to blink onto the medium compound tire. There's still rain coming down, and Viral has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That's really unfortunate. Great pace from him up until now, but that penalty is going to really dampen his chances of a podium result here. But with rain still coming down, Yusuf already out the pits on a fresh set of mediums. So now we keep an eye on the gap to him and the cars around him, if this is going to work out for him, or if he's gone too early. So he comes on the pits about 3.5, 4 seconds behind Bombolino. Yeah, 3.7. So keep an eye out now as that develops, and right now, okay, yeah, he's definitely losing a bit of time, and he's gotten a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting as well, so he's struggling to control it. So definitely went a little bit early there. But Sean Mull is in! It has stopped raining. It's a risky call by Sean, because Yusuf is definitely still struggling, but it could work out for him. I did say he has to try something different to make sure he doesn't double stack behind his teammate. Viral is in as well, and so is Cheeseburger. It's hard tires for Sean and Viral. Cheeseburger with a wing change and a set of the hard compound tires as well, and suddenly his intermediates have turned into hard as well. That's quite interesting. You can see him on the ground with a white wall. Oh, but Sean is all over the place down the pit exit, struggling for traction. And normally that's already something like when you go for a gamble like this and you disable the pit limiter and you're immediately like sideways. Horrible feeling, because you already think, shit, I fucked it. Now let's see if Sean has fucked it indeed. Yeah, he's slower. He's slower. Definitely slower. Quite a bit slower than Akuzin. So it was indeed, I would say, a lap too early. But it's not horrendous. Now he's getting time back. And well, no, he's lost some time again. But the others are in as well. Kuko's in, and so is Gabri. Oh, Gabri! Almost going to the back of Kuko and then to the wall. And yeah, all of the guys are in. Phantom, Pix, Pop Dog, and Pix went into the wall there on the pit entry. Hopefully no damage for him. Sully is staying out still, and so is Dylan. What the fuck? Dylan, what the fuck are you doing? Does he have stick drift? Or why can't he keep the car like in a straight line? Akuzin also still staying out. And Kuko, oh my god, he's all over the place on the exit. What is going on? Is he lagging? Or is that on my end? But Kuko comes out early of the race. Sean has lost so much ground. Look where he's come out. He's lost out to Phantom. Definitely the wrong call to pit on that lap. And we have a yellow flag, and that is Yusuf who's crashed at the pit entry? I think, yeah, and it's a virtual safety car. And Yusuf's car indeed is stopped, I think, in the pit wall. Yeah, I couldn't see. And there's a full course safety car now. Full course safety car deployed. And that is, oh my goodness me. Sully, Dylan, Akuzin are in absolute heaven, as they are the only ones not to have pit so far. And this race has been turned upside down all of a sudden. Is Sully going to come on the lead? I think not, because he's not that far away from Kuko. But for sure, they're going to rocket up the field, Sully and Dylan. Not right in the front, but I'm sure this won't hurt for them. And of course, yeah, they take this opportunity with, yeah, very much good race. And Akuzin dives into the pit lane as well. Obviously, track is drying out, but as time the safety car's in, it'll be easily time for the dry tires. Now, where does Sully, where does Dylan, where does Akuzin exit this pit lane? The other leaders, Kuko and Gabri, they are going to be ahead. Pinky will be ahead as well. There's Phantom. And for Phantom it's going to be already close, I think. And that is Sully out of the pit lane between Pinky and Phantom and Dylan as well. Dylan and Sully have jumped. Phantom have jumped Sean, have jumped Pix. Akuzin coming out in P9. Viral back in the pit lane, and so is Pop Dog. Interesting. Oh, well, for Pop Dog I can definitely see why. How has he gotten that damage then without me noticing? But this safety car neutralizing the race once more, and it's given Sully and Dylan a great opportunity at a result here. Gotten themselves right in the fight for those front positions. Sean has lost, definitely the biggest loser of this pit stop phase, I would say, down in 7th now, earlier up in 4th. He's lost out to Phantom, to Dylan and to Sully. And he has got slightly worse tires as well. Worth mentioning as well, Phantom and Pix on the mediums, everybody else now on hards. It is a long way to go to the end, but I think some people will definitely go for it and try and make it to the end. It is going to be a stretch, I think. If I remember correctly, it's roughly the same as it was in the in last season's Mystery Grand Prix, where we had a few punctures right in the end. So now it's a bit of a gamble if you go for the one stop into too hard, or if you're gonna go for a two stop. Phantom and Pix, of course, are locked into a two stop. That's medium, definitely won't last. Everybody else has left their options open, and we'll see what they end up doing. So everybody's now caught up. Bazooka and Pup Dog, Mercedes on the back of the train. Should be ready to go at the end of this lap, lap 16. So it's a 20 lap stint to the end from here. So that is going to be a tough ask for those hard compound tires. Very interested to see how that goes. The track should be mostly dry by now, but not 100%. So it's also difficult now for the drivers to get a feel, because they have to get a feel very quickly for how the conditions are. So far, of course, they've been driving under safety car conditions, so they haven't really been able to feel the grip slowly come back in, so they won't know exactly where it is. They have to sort of guess how, like, of course, it definitely is going to be mostly dry, but like, how much percentage do you need to take away from the 100%, if you get me? Like, can you drive at 98, 97? Of course, you get my point. And how quickly can you get back up to 100%, especially also with the tires, which are going to be quite cold now. It is a very tricky restart for everyone. Safety car has been called in, and now Kuko will slow down the field so he can restart whenever he wants to. Safety car is entering the pit lane. Kuko looking like he's going to wait. That's a 10-second penalty for Cheeseburger there with severe condition with Akuzin. Hopefully no damage for the two Red Bulls as well. No, Cheeseburger's in the pit, so there is definitely damage for him. And Kuko is now gone and restarting the race. Gabri has been caught off guard, and Pinky has a run on Gabri. Cheeseburger Tyson race. Pinky sent it up the inside to turn 1. What a risky move by Pinky, and it's not worked out too well for Gabri. He's down in 8th, 9th, he's dropping back, and he's in the wall! Gabri's out! Oh my goodness me, the championship leader at turn 2. Loses the front right tire, and there's still so much battling in the midfield here. With 3 wide there. That is Viral. Dylan is off, and Viral is off. Into the wall as well, and Viral is out as well. Two DNFs on this restart and another full course safety car. That's Pupdog and Bazooka. No, Bazooka's fine. Pupdog is off on the gravel as well. Down to just 11 cars now as both Viral and Gabri are out of the race. What a chaotic restart. I didn't even really see what happened to Gabri. I just saw the send from Pinky. Gabri was off track. I guess he must have rejoined and then been caught out by like all the other cars being so close. And yeah, then that 3 wide situation with two more cars 2 wide behind. Catching out Viral, and that's another full course safety car immediately right after the first. And this is a huge opportunity for Sean, for Pinky, to get themselves right into the championship fight. Cuckoo as well, and Phantom, as Pix is diving into the pits, and looks like Phantom is as well. They're both coming off those medium tires. They're going to go to the back of the field to go for some of the hearts that will bring them to the end of the race. Bazooka in as well, and so is Pupdog. I think, yeah, Pupdog of course involved in that crash with Viral. Imagine he has damage, and Bazooka maybe as well. I didn't see it for him. Yeah, damage on his front wing as well, so it's a wing change for both Mercedes cars. Pix and Phantom both just with a strategical pit stop off the mediums to the hards. So then they do have a tire advantage, but it's mostly safety car laps. So the tire wear on those hards of the top 7 will not be particularly big. Pupdog has to go into the mediums, doesn't have any hards left it seems. So he's now in a really tough spot, probably the only driver in this race now who's not going to the end, because yeah, those extra safety car laps now will make it definitely easier for everybody else to make the end on this hard. But what a turn into the race story that is. Gabri in the wall at turn 2, and 2 corners later, Viral in the wall as well, brings out another safety car. And just like that, the championship has been turned upside down. Sean is very, very, very likely to take a championship lead from here. He only needs to finish in 8th or higher. And Gabri's massive lead he had early on has been overturned at the halfway straight through the season. Unbelievable stuff. An absolute nightmare. Cheeseburger as well, he'll be really kicking himself that he didn't take this opportunity to get himself right in the championship fight. He's now DNF'd as well. And that could have been a great opportunity for him. Pix back in the pits again? Only 1 lap after the last one. That will drop him to last place. It's another wing change for Pix. And a new set of hard tires. So yeah, this drops him behind the 2 Mercs. Pupdog's in the pits again. I think Pupdog going back to slow the hards. Yeah, strategical stop from Pupdog, making sure he's on a tire that can go to the end. The hards was on beforehand. And Pix holds on to 10th and Pupdog in P11. But this race... Damn, what a chaotic turn it's taken. Should be restarting at the end of next lap, I think. I don't think Pupdog will catch up in time for the safety car to be called in now. So end of lap 20, back on the way, and Cuckoo gets another shot at this restart. He's got Pinky and Sean and Sully right up behind him. Akkusen in 5th with a track limit penalty. He's going to have a tough time getting involved in that fight, since he'll have to drive out a 3-second gap. Definitely very interested to see how this plays out. We've got guys like Phantom and Borodinho down in 7th and 8th. Pix with a great qualifying, currently in 10th. Not the result he's looking for, I would imagine. And safety car is going to stay out for 1 more lap. It looks like, yeah, it's going to go past the pit lane here. And hopefully this time will be a more calmer restart. I would like to keep it on the green flags from here to the end, really. And there's now a swap between Cuckoo and Pinky. What's going on there? Viral leaving the session. Oh, he's DNF'd. Pinky has actually taken the lead off Cuckoo under the safety car. I'm not sure how that's possible without a time penalty, but yeah, somehow he's managed to overtake him. Some kind of glitch, exploit, something, I don't know, but he's not letting him back past, it seems. And that could go down to the slots as well, I imagine. As some kind of yeah, exploit abuse by Pinky, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened. Maybe Kuku also just fucked it and Pinky passed him legally. That is definitely possible. But for sure it's weird that all of a sudden the leader has lost a position under safety car conditions. But yeah, Pinky leading this restart. Slowing the field right down as the safety car's entering the pit lane. He could go when he wants to. But I'm sure the same as Kuku the last time, he'll wait until quite late to make sure he catches the cars behind him off guard and doesn't get slipstreamed all the way down towards the first corner. Oh, he's gone very early, in fact, very early. He's caught Kuku completely off guard. Look at that. A big gap, and Kuku. Oh, a big snap of Ostia as well there. And that is Akuzin past Sully at the final corner. Before the start-finish line, worth mentioning. But Sully had, and yeah, Akuzin has to let him back past. He probably had an illegal overtake. Well, the top three have broken away from the rest of the field. Pinky has broken away from Kuku. Two Ferraris at the moment on their own. But look at this. The midfield once again close together. That's Bobodinho and Phantom on the chase against Dylan. Who of course jumped up quite a few places with that safety car period. Where he got to pit, same as Akuzin. And Sully. Bobodinho looking for the inside line, late on the brakes. A risky move against Dylan, and Dylan holds on around the outside, does he? Yes, a better exit for the Sauber. And here comes the other Sauber, Phantom, now in the slipstream of his teammate, going for the outside line against Bobodinho into turn 3. But getting caught behind his teammate a little bit now, swoops around the outside, gets quite deep into the corner. And unfortunately for him, doesn't get the traction he needs, and Bobodinho holds onto the place. Now Phantom burning some overtake down the straight, trying to come back at him, but not quite enough. Bobodinho holds onto 7th. And once again, Bobodinho now putting his eyes towards the attack, as Pix is right up the back of Bazooka here in the battle for 9th. Bazooka, low on ERS now, covers the inside. Pix does even further inside, sends it under brakes, and there is a winglet flying there, as Pubdog now gets past his teammate as well, but goes deep and Dylan with another time penalty. Pubdog and Bazooka side by side into Mercedes, and Bazooka pulls back ahead of Pubdog into the top 10. Bobodinho once again with a great run on Dylan. Is he going to go for it again down here, or is he going to wait for the DRS straight? This time he's going to wait for the DRS. And there's Phantom, look at that. Looking up the outside, being aggressive, looking for the opportunities, because he has a tyre advantage over everybody else. Even if it's safety car laps, that still puts on some tyre wear. Bobodinho up the inside, gets caught badly, but Phantom gets stuck on the outside, and now maybe Pix even with a good run to get involved here. Dylan under big pressure, there comes Bobodinho, and I think Phantom might slip through as well. Dylan with no DRS, not a whole lot he can do, and I think he also let Phantom through there a little bit, didn't want to cause anything crazy there with his teammate. And Phantom now with DRS on Bobodinho, is he gonna have to run into turn 1? No, runs out of road. And out of time before the corner comes up on him. But here's Pix on the inside of Dylan. They make contact as Pix was not that far alongside. Dylan shuts him the door. Pix with a great save, keeps the car under control and pointing in the right direction, and holds on to 9th place. Bazooka though definitely used that to close in, and is now going to join this battle. And the winglet we saw flying earlier was Pubdog. He's got big wing damage on that Mercedes, and it's going to really hamper his chances of points. Kuku now all over the back of Pinky. The battle for the win, and Pinky lets Kuku have it on this occasion. Might try and come back at him in the next DRS straight though. Or just glitch right through him. And I definitely feel like Kuku is lagging, because it's only him for me. And Kuku lets Sean go. Team orders at Ferrari. The new championship leader, Sean. Ferrari have given the call. Kuku has to let him through. And Sean now up in P2 fighting Pinky. Pubdog in the pit lane. He's gonna have to get that wing change. He'll drop far behind the field, unfortunately. Real shame to see that for him. It could have been a solid race towards the end of the race here, where it really would have been anyone's game with the entire field bunched up and only 11 cars in the race. Pub Dog got tires in the race, and with that we've got 10 cars left and everybody's still running. He's going to score at least 1 point. Akuzin now being caught by a big twin of cars. Look at that. Bobodinho, Phantom, Pix all right up behind each other and right behind Akuzin. Can he hold on to those places? Phantom with a big lift and coast there. Oh, that is Dylan. Oh, Phantom with a disconnect. Oh no. Right, I've invited him back. But that is going to put his race in a very, very difficult position now. He's dropped down to P10 already. And what would have been a good comeback drive has been ruined by an ill-timed disconnect. We only just had 6 laps of safety car running. Why couldn't he have disconnected then? No, it has happened right after. Unfortunate for Phantom there, and it's... yeah, well, even if he gets back in now, he's going to have a tough time getting anything more than a P, I don't know, 9 or 8 with the technical penalties from Akuzin and Dylan. And a yellow flag for Dylan, who's had a spin in that first of the double right-handers. And he drops right down to P10. A real disaster for Sauber right now. Their race is going, yeah, right into the dump. One is spun, the other is disconnected, and then they're down to 10th and 9th all of a sudden. And here comes Bobodinho and Akuzin. Nope, not quite. But maybe down this DRS straight. It's a bit longer. Ah, it's a bad exit though. And there's Pix actually, with the run on Bobodinho. Looking for the outside line to turn 1, but he's stuck behind Akuzin and he has to brake early, and Bobodinho holds on. Pinky with the fast lap of the race, the lead of the race. Now Bobodinho very close behind Akuzin. Is he gonna get that position finally? He's looking up the inside into the first corner, and there's not a whole lot the Red Bull can do there. The Red Bull instead having to fight against Pix. And Pix has to back out. Akuzin at least holds on to P6 for now. Maybe we can try and come back against Bobodinho with the DRS zones coming up. Because now he's struggling with the dirty, and there comes Pix, look at that! Immediately as Akuzin goes a little bit deep, Pix sends it up the inside, midway through the corner, and they are now side by side, a beautiful battle this is, wheel to wheel. And Pix in the end with the better traction, pulls out ahead, his tires of course significantly better. And that in the end secures him the position, but he's lost out on DRS to Bobodinho, where Akuzin does have DRS on Pix. And that gives him a crucial advantage down towards the top of the hill. But it's not quite enough, and now Pix will have DRS on Bobodinho into next corner. And there's another spot at Ferrari, Kuko. This time, it's Sean letting Kuko pass. So the Ferrari pit wall saw Sean didn't have the pace. And decided, well, give it back to Kuko, let him have a go at Pinky. Make sure we at least win this race. Fast lap of the race there as well, coming in from Kuko now. The bonus point going back towards Ferrari. Or is it? I mean, I saw the purple track map, but... yeah, okay, he has it. 8.2. And now Kuko on the hunt against Pinky. There is a pit stop from Dylan. Already quite far off the back of the field. And the tires from the race, Dylan, leaving us with just 9 cars. Heading to the last stage of the race, it looks like it's Kuko against Pinky for the win. Sean is there or thereabouts, but not quite the same pace as that top 2. Sonny lost too much time on the restart and now chasing after that DRS. Very tough for him. Kuko with a run on Pinky into the final corner, and he's gotten the position. Kuko takes the lead of this race. And Pinky now on the attack rather than the defense as Pix heads off Bobodinho. Bobodinho heads into the pit lane. Is that tire not going to last? Because otherwise, why would you be pitting? Very surprised to see that strategy go from Bobodinho. Is the tire that bad? Of course, you might have some bad memories from last season's Mystery Grand Prix at Reverse Austria, where he lost a second place on the last lap of the race with a late puncture with 3 corners to go and ended up out of the points, I believe. If I remember correctly, for sure he lost a whole lot of places. So I can see why he'd maybe be a bit scared to risk it and go to the end. But I would have thought with how many safety car laps we had and how few laps there are to go, that the tire definitely would have made it. If the tire was going to make it, it definitely won't be the correct strategy call to pit, because he is If you look at that, 13 seconds back from Phantom, who was of course significantly ahead of before. And with only 8 laps to go, that is not a gap you can overcome, especially on a track as short as this. There aren't that many corners to really make up the time. Kuko looking in control. He's got a nice little gap to Pinky there, 6/10. As Garvin has now left the session. Spice still in here. I guess he's been maybe in depression, in denial. I don't know. It must be a horrible feeling for Gavin right now. I really don't want to be in his shoes at this point. Losing a championship lead like that, of course, the championship is so far from over, and he'll be right now. Sean is getting P3, so Gabby will be 13 points behind him. That's nothing, but still, it was such a comfortable position for Gabby. So to have that, yeah, go down a drain like that, not a nice feeling whatsoever. Especially in of course, it's not the one race where he lost that gap. But the fact that he lost the championship lead like that, really, yeah, it's one of the worst feelings as a driver. Of course, I don't know how the crash actually happened for him. Like I said, I only saw the send from Pinky and the wheel banging where Gabby got pushed off track. And like, I put my camera somewhere else because there was so many battles going on. I haven't looked back at Gabby because I see he's dropping places. All of a sudden he's in the wall. That's all I saw, basically. As Bazooka now with a run on Akazin. Gets the car stopped just about. What a move. Bazooka up into 6th. Phantom chasing those two from in behind, looking to get P6 out of this race at least. Of course, Bobolinho on the even fresher tires. Probably having a go at fast lap of the race as well. And maybe having a look at least at Akazin with Akazin's 6-second penalty. That could be possible. This top 3, Akazin now with 9 seconds of penalties, and that makes it definitely a whole lot easier for Bobolinho to get that 8th place of Akazin. As it stands, Akazin will definitely be behind Phantom, and Bobolinho not quite yet. But there are still quite some laps to go for Bobolinho, and he's got a 14-lap tire advantage. That should not be that difficult to make up. Kuko going quite deep there to turn 3. And invites Pinky to close the gap quite a bit. Sean is closing in as well, though. Seems to have found a tad bit of pace there. Sully still 1.6 seconds back, and he's low on ES as well. You can tell Sully really is trying everything to get involved in that fight. He wants a podium out this race, really. He's going to want the result, of course. As Sean looking for the run on Pinky, but the straight just not quite long enough. And he runs all over road, turning down towards turn 1. Has to hold on to P3 instead, and Pinky can defend 2nd place. He's got more ES charged on Sean as well now. The 2 Ferraris. They could try and work together somehow, but how would they do that? As Akazin and Phantom battle, and Phantom is around. And now fast lap the race from Bobolinho. Phantom was on the inside of Akazin there, heading into turn 2. Very weird incident. I thought, I don't know, it looked like they didn't really touch all that much. And now look at that, Sully. Oh, but he's just about missed out, and now there's the DRS ones coming up. I thought he was has joined the fight here. But maybe next lap. If these guys ahead battle a little bit, that could be the ticket for Sully. But Sean is quite far back from Pinky, so that's actually bad for Sully, because Sean has got some bit of gap to drive into. Pinky not going for the move on Kuko here. Rather just staying behind. Warming up for the last lap, saving ERS and, you know, using some old school league racing strats. Waiting for that run. Probably into the last corner on the last lap, so Kuko has got no chance to respond. Phantom, this time he does get past Akazin. Now up into 7th, and Bobolinho not that far away at this point. Will definitely get 8th of Akazin, and maybe more. He's gaining at a rate of knots, of course, on those significantly better tires than anybody else. And yeah, I mean, with Bobolinho pitting, it definitely indicates to me that the tires are not safe. Especially for the likes of Sean, who pitted the earliest of anyone. A significant portion of those laps was under safety car, but even safety car laps put somewhere on your tires. And of course, when these guys have been battling the way they have been, they're going to put even more wear on their tires. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out heading into this last few laps. If those tires from Kuko, from Pinky, from Sean, from Sully are going to hold on, and from Akazin as well, I think Pix, Bazooka, Phantom are safe, and Bobolinho, of course. And Sean looks to have lost DRS to the top 2, and that is great news for Sully, since he maybe has a chance to catch Sean now and get that podium place off him. Kuko and Pinky now locked in a battle of their own for this race win. And Akuzin is in the pit, so his tire also looks like it wouldn't have lasted. Otherwise, he's not going to pit this close for the end, surely. Or maybe he's going fastest lap. Not the mediums for Akuzin. Because he already was down in last place in the penalty, so yeah, maybe it was a call for the fast lap attempt. Or maybe the tire was just in puncture range at this point. Who knows? I'd love to have PC Woody with me right now. He could tell me. He knows he has the telemetry data, but unfortunately I don't have that. And here we have it. Pinky very close behind Kuko. Not quite close enough. Or maybe not wanting to go for the move. No, he definitely burned some EIS there. He was trying. He's definitely trying now. Very low on EIS actually. And maybe is Kuko holding him up to get Sean back involved in the fight? Sean not quite in the DRS range. 3 laps to go now. 3 more opportunities for Pinky to retake the lead of the race and get that race win off Kuko. What a race Kuko has had. In that early phase in the rain, taking the lead. And has been in the lead. Well, not the entire time, but still for a good portion of the race, and he's always been in this top group. And now he's got a nice little gap to Pinky. Oh, actually, all of a sudden, here's Sean, putting some pressure on him. Akuzin in the pit lane again. And Sully, is he in DRS range? No, not quite. Not quite, and he's gonna run out of laps at this point. Phantom has called out Bazooka. Akuzin with a swap to the softs and a fresh wing as well. As we head into the last 2 laps of the race, Kuko leads from Pinky and Sean. The 2 Ferraris and a 2 vs 1 against Pinky in the V-Cab. Has Pinky got something special for us to overcome the man advantage Ferrari have over him? Of course, Sean, he's there or thereabouts, but he's not really got the pace to get involved, it looks like. He's always hovering just within range, but never within overtaking range of Pinky, it looks like. And Sully also in a similar tough spot. He can't quite break that DRS. You need such a big pace advantage to get that into that DRS range. He might maybe now get it, but then he only has 1 lap to make the pass, and with the ERS he has to use to get that DRS, it's going to be very tough, but still maybe he can get himself at least a chance. No, I think he missed out again. Again, no DRS for Sully. Phantom now going around the outside of Bazooka here in the middle sector. Bazooka still there. Ooh. And Phantom getting loose to the corner. And there is a battle for the lead. Looks like Pinky very close behind Kuko. We have to look at this. And now Kuko's ghosting. Is Pinky going to ghost to Kuko here? Surely not. I think he is. And Pinky is going to take the lead of the race on the last corner of the second to last lap. They're still inside it, and Kuko pulls back ahead, and Kuko has a DRS as he was behind the detection point, and Kuko crucially now pulls way down the straight, and Akuzin could become a real factor in this if he were to give Kuko DRS on this last lap. Bazooka and Phantom still locked in the battle. Phantom now pulls ahead. But right now we have to look at Kuko and Pinky on this last lap of this Mystery Grand Prix. Kuko leads the way from Pinky, who's only 3/10 behind both of them. Low on ERS, Kuko's got a little bit more in the tank. Sean is too far back, so is Sully. It is Kuko or Pinky. And I'm definitely leaning towards Kuko. He's got the gap, he's got the ERS. He has got this under control, it looks like. A little bit of a wobble, but a better exit than Pinky. Crucially, and Pinky definitely too far back here. He's burning all the ERS he has, which isn't much. Oh, but he's back too late. He's missed the corner, and that is the win for Kuko. Pinky is not going to get him. Sean is too far back to get Pinky as well, and that is an unbelievable drive by Kuko here today. Great team play as well. He did let Sean through. He tried to get his championship contending teammate that race win. But still, in the end, despite the team order, Kuko got the place back from his teammate, went for the overtake on Pinky, secured the win here in Austria in a wet to dry race, which is for Kuko really, really nice to see that he has conquered his problems with the wet conditions. Because he didn't just luck into this race, he was leading in the wet as well. He had good pace in the wet. He continued that good pace into the dry. Pinky brings home a great second place. Sean Moole rounds to the top 3, of course, with Pinky's instant with Gabi. I would definitely put an asterisk next to that result. That could definitely still change. Sully then in a strong 4th place. Well, Pix finishing where he started in the end. 5th place, can be very happy with that. Phantom in 6th. Bazooka in 7th, right behind him. Bobolinho almost capturing those guys with the piss up at the end of the race. Unfortunately for him, it's only P8. And Akuzin is going to bring the car home in P9, and I think he's given up on the fast lap attempt. Yeah, he's weaving down the straight, so not going to be a fast lap here. The fast lap point going to Bobolinho with a 106.734, and Akuzin is going to get himself 2 points for P9, with 1 point going to Dylan for P10, and then Top Dog, Viral, Gabi, Cheeseburger, Yusuf, and JM going home empty. And here we have our podium. Kuko finally back on the top step of the podium. It's been such a tough season for him. And especially with Gabi DNFing today, Kuko has gained a whole lot of points, 25 to be exact, in this championship fight. With half of the season still to go, Kuko has closed his gap to Gabi from 56 points to 31. That doesn't seem an impossibility. Of course, the crucial gap actually now is no longer the gap to Gabi, it's the gap to Sean, as Sean is our new championship leader. He came into this race 2 points behind Gabi. He comes out of the race 13 points ahead. Crucial points gained for Pinky as well. He came in, 48 behind Sean. That's now 45. Kuko's gap 52 to Sean, so that's now 42. Yeah, definitely looking like a 4-way title fight now. Cheeseburger with the DNF as well. He was already quite far back. That's really optimal for him. But he's still somewhat in there. Phantom. Well, he was equal with Kuko before today, but with Kuko getting a race win and Phantom down the order. Well, neither Kuko nor Phantom, I think, really got themselves much hope of this title. But Kuko, I think, is definitely in it now, heading into the second half of the season. Not one of the main contenders, but he has a chance for sure. It's very interesting to see how quickly it can shift here in Division 2. I mean, at the start of the season we thought, well, Gabi has that locked up, he's so far clear, and all of a sudden we've got Pinky, we've got Cheeseburger, we've got Kuko, we've got Sean, mainly of course, is taking the lead. Phantom has an outside shot, and all of these names are being thrown in the mix, and you think, well, it's actually looking quite open again. It's really lovely to see. But yeah, that was a great race, very thoroughly enjoyable Mystery Grand Prix here at Austria Reverse. So we've got one more Mystery Grand Prix this Saturday in Division 1. Of course, we've had Silverstone yesterday, Austria today, so that means we are left with the other 8 tracks that weren't on this season's calendar. Those being China, Imola, Spain, Canada, Zandvoort Normal Way, Zandvoort Reverse, Mexico, and Qatar as the options for the Division 1 Mystery Grand Prix. So I'm very excited as well to see how that goes. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I hope you have a good evening, and I hope to see you all again. Yeah, I can't talk anymore. Next week for the 10th round of season 18 at Saudi Arabia. And with how exciting of a championship fight this has been, there's surely going to be more drama, especially at a track like that. So be sure to tune in. You don't want to miss that for sure. Right, I've said everything I need to say. Thank you to the drivers putting on one hell of a show there. Thank you especially to the drivers who finished the race. It's been a very tough one. Lots of DNFs, race of attrition today. Yeah, I hope the drivers enjoyed it as well. So yeah, goodbye everyone.